So this is what I'm down to. This is what I got to work with. These are busted out frames, and what I need is to make a stand for this drill press. Now I finally got a proper drill press vise coming, just a crappy Chinese one to go with a crappy Chinese drill, but I'd like it to sit, you know, yay high. So me being stingy like I am, grind, cut, see what we can turn this into. You know, no such thing as bad steel.
So straight away I jumped into it and started hacking up the steel. I'm using my battery powered cold cut saw, this little circular saw with a cold cut blade in it, spins at the right revs. It's the best thing I've ever bought in a long time. I got a ex display stock or whatever. I'm not sure what the best brand is. Bosch is a great brand, but I think Milwaukee makes a good one too. I can't compare because I've only had this one, but this one is a lifesaver. These cold cut saws are the duck's nuts for shit like flat plate, like real thin flat plate, even thicker flat plate, but you don't want to push your luck with it. But I use it on conduit and steel pipe and uni strut and bits of angle. It just dominates, and the battery lasts longer per cut than like an angle grinder would. So if you have to use a battery tool, you want this for cutting. This will last all day. Angle grinder ain't gonna last stuff all. It's just how it is. I rate it highly. So to punch out all this grinding, I'm using a flap disc that I bought. I got like 50 of them from Amazon. Some no-name brand, just average grit, you know, cheapies. The only trouble is with them is they don't last you as long, nowhere near as long as a real one, but they do the job. And for the price, you end up walking away with pretty good deal. You do get for 50 of them, which will probably last you the same amount of time as say 10 good ones. It does cost you for the price of like say 3 good ones. So you know you are winning, but it's a hassle. You're always changing blades, you're always throwing them out, and but just be, if you can get good ones, just get good ones for convenience. But if you want to save a buck, save a buck. Now when I started tacking it together, I wasn't too worried about warpage because I figured it's got to be good. It's not structural, it's not a work of art, you know, it's me welding it after all. You know, it's going to be mostly grinding and paint. However, I was pretty happy with how I was sitting, how my welds were going. And I was getting quite confident. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, smash this arc, smash this arc, smash this one. Until the point where I flipped it over. So I'm just charging along, running my bead like I normally would. You know, pretty confident now. I've already burnt like 12 rods today. Feeling right in the mood and in the groove. Start chipping it off, and so I jump on the old
Skookum
forums, and I know that people in here are great. If you ever got any technical questions, jump on here. They'll help you out. Some of the smartest people on the internet, and generally no egos attached, no nothing. Just smart people talking smart info, looking for smart answers. And not to mention the odd shit post that will give you a laugh. So they all had a pretty good consensus, and when I went back and looked and thought about it, they were dead right. My amps were too low. That was the general problem. And a lot of them were saying about my rods, which have been sitting in the back of the shed for a long time, and they're probably not helping me out. But my main problem was my amps were too low. I'm not the best welder. But after advice, I started getting better results. Better results. I'm not saying perfect results. Better. If you are into welding, or you would like to learn a bit about welding, I can't recommend Welding Tips and Tricks. Welding Tips and Tricks YouTube channel enough. This guy, he's just the biggest welding nerd ever, and it's great. He speaks to you like a normal dude, and he runs you through things. He's just into it, and if you're just any way into welding, check it out because you will not regret it. It's Welding Tips and Tricks. It's the best channel ever for welding, hands down. There's other great channels, but this one here, specifically for ins and outs and little bits of welding, is the one.
So, I'm about to make the base, but what I don't want to happen is this. I don't want to join it like that. Doesn't look good. End up with, you know. So, what I'm going to do is I've got the perfect size hole saw. What I'm going to do is I've got the perfect size hole saw for the pipe. And I hole saw through. That way, I'll be able to make a nice join. Similar to that, as opposed to that. Then for the feet, what I'm going to do is just 45. Perfect.
Now, you can get jigs for this, but I don't have a jig. So all I did was I taped the hole saw arbor together to stop the rattling. The rattling was undoing it in my first attempt. So I taped that together, just held it at the right amount of pressure versus friction versus speed, so it didn't grab. It did grab a couple of times, but you can find that sweet spot and you can just dangle it, so you know you're not going to snap your wrist off. And I managed, once I got into the groove, I managed to go through it quite well. So you don't always need the fancy tools and setups and jigs to get jobs done, but don't be a dumb cunt. Be smart about it. I went halfway through and I ended up chopping the rest off with a grinder, and then to get the perfect fit I had to take a bit more of the teeth off anyway, so. But very happy with the ending snug fit. Almost too good for what I'm doing. Perfect. So now I've got that joint done. I've got to cut the 45s and clean up the steel for the rest of the frame. Best thing about owning a shitty cut-off saw is I can set it to 45 degrees, make the cuts a lot easier instead of trying to run it around with a grinder. Worst thing about owning a cut-off saw is the bastard who used it before me always left a shitty run-out blade on it that can't cut through the steel. Just so happens that bastard's always me. I'm always the one that prior used it to myself, but it's still infuriating the same. So I chopped it down, finished it off, cleaned them right up, and got them ready for a good old weld. As you can see, I've got the wire wheel out on this, and it's just eating through the paint 5 times faster than the flat disc ever was. So pretty happy about that. Got a shitty old Ryobi grinder as well while I was there. It was on special, $50. Can't argue. I'll probably never put anything but the wire wheel in it, so now I've pretty much got a wire wheel dedicated grinder. They can just live on the welding cart and just be there for whenever I want to wire wheel stuff. Saves changing out blades and whatnot. Getting it all level up and stuff was a bit tricky. A few too many tacks involved. But when I finally did, I just blasted it out. Pretty happy with the weld around the front. Filling the gap out. Filling the gap of the weld at the back was a little bit hard. I had to do a few passes, but came out good. Again, don't want to jinx myself because every time I do, my welds turn to shit again, but pretty happy where I'm at. Doing quite well. Not a professional, nowhere near a professional. Should never get paid for my work, but making shitty stands at home, okay, it's fine.
And there she is in all her glory. Special thanks to the guys at
Skookum.
Helped me out. My welds were turning out complete like shit. Couldn't work out why. I chucked a post up on the forums, and well, after everyone felt a little bit sorry for me. Good tips. Made this is pretty decent for me. Not bad. Pretty happy. There's more consistencies to be had in that, but this isn't structural. You know, it's not going to kill anyone. Other than that, I'm pretty happy. These joins worked out quite well. The hole saw worked out well. And all around, happy with it. So, there she is. Brilliant. Magic. Now I did make this a little bit higher than she did end up a little bit higher than I normally would go for. However, there's a reason. In the future, this will be Gonski's and I will get a proper size drill press. Just waiting for one to come my way. And this will become my bench grinder stand. So I've left enough room on it for that. So that's why it's slightly high. But this model drill press, I'm not going to be drilling anything huge anyway. It doesn't have the torque. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for me to keep straight, that's all. I have checked the run out on it. It's about as good as me with a battery drill, so, you know, it's convenience more than actual precision I'm getting out of the machine. But very happy with it. Went from scrap to a stand. Now all I've got left is to paint it, so